Tyler Baker, and I'm here with Nathan Kennedy and a guy who just forced some really bad news on me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to know by now. It's the Rotten Amato, the man behind the mask, the guy that won't show his face, has used his mob boss connections to force me to watch, the sounds of pigs being slaughtered, watching hamburgers being made. I would much rather watch that than have to forced to gunpoint to watch the new Netflix She-Ra. And you may be wondering, why the hell would I be bringing this up on the pop culture? But it's current event news, and it's traumatizing. It hurts my brain to know that Joe has forced my hand, and I have to watch the first episode of this abomination.
See, I think that would have been
to shut down all the politically correct jerk-offs who just want to come along and fight just because they're looking for anything to fight about on social media.
I feel like this would have been a better suited intro for Fans of Power tonight.
I'll do it again tonight, too.
We don't have to do that again, but yeah, so how's it going?
Well, we already know how Tyler's doing.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just well, first, before we started, I asked Nathan, I said, hey, man, you feeling okay? Because his eyes looked a little glassy. And
I didn't see that. How is it you see that and I didn't?
Well, I mean, when you're doing a show, you're into talking, and you're into, obviously, watching the episode you guys did.
Oh, yeah, because I noticed that my eyes bloodshot. I'm not stoned or anything like that. I was just up late. I started Red Dead 2. I think I slept maybe about 5 hours. And I think just staring at the screen, because that entire beginning is just, you're in deep snow. And even I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is kind of taking a little while. And I knew that it was slow. I read from other people, heard from other people. The beginning of this game is very slow. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, yeah, it is. I think just staring at that for so long and minimal sleep, it just.
Well, at least you're okay, because I wasn't sure. I was like, man, I didn't know if it was your allergies or what. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the old TGIF lineups that they used to have back in the day. And what's up, Yamish and JSP? But so when he said that, I thought first, hey, maybe it was allergies, because sometimes mine kick up like it was today. And I had to go out and get a fresh bottle. Now, this ain't the hottest hot sauce in the world, but I have this Dave's Insanity sauce. And when I don't have, let's say, an allergy pill to take, I usually take some good drops of this, put on something, and have that. This is the stuff that you're supposed to put one drop in, like a big vat of chili, and it makes the entire chili hot. And like I said, I know there's stuff that's hotter than this, but it always makes me think of a story like, years ago, I had some neighbors that were always barbecuing. I always like getting some food next door, me, free food. But
yeah, I can see Joe just like peeking through the fence.
That made me think. I had this funny image popped in my head, and the minute you guys said this, I don't know what I think it was. Just thinking about, because it's funny. I always come up with like silly scenarios that involve you two, but we all know that Joe likes to he shows it for the food, and I think it's because I passed McDonald's and I saw that they were advertising like the McRib was back or something like that, but I just had this image of like Joe just hanging outside his local McDonald's, but then playing it off like in American Werewolf in London, where he's David not hiding in the bushes. He goes, hey, kid, come here. And it's some kid standing outside McDonald's with a Happy Meal, and he shakes his head. He goes, come here, I'll give you £1, 2 pounds. And it's some English kid in parts unknown. We don't know why. We don't question this. It's like, I don't know who you are. It's like, I'm the famous Happy Meal thief. And then Joe walks around out of the bush wearing a scarf, the mask, and nothing else, though, and just grabs the kid's Happy Meal. Thank you. And then takes off. And he's like, that naked Italian American stole my Happy Meal.
Nuts. Okay.
I know, but I was like, I can see Joe just do it because he's just going to do whatever he can to get a free Happy Meal. So you can get the toy, the free sauce, the napkins, maybe a straw if there's one in there.
Well, I got to ask this too, Joe, because you said hot sauce for your allergies. Is the purpose just to it's going to be hot, that it's going to make your eyes water and your nose run to get it all out? Like, what's the purpose of the hot
sauce? I mean, hot sauce. It is a known fact that hot sauce does help with your immune system. It helps ward off colds, but also with allergy effect, it seems like my sneezing just stops when I take some super hot sauce. So back to my neighbors there, they're having, like I said, I'd always know when they'd have their barbecue going. I'd like going over there, getting free food. And I went over and I asked about the one chicken that they had. I was like, is this kind of spicy? And they were like, yeah, we like it spicy. I was like, did you really? I was like, what'd you put on this? And they said, Frank's Red Hot. And I was like, Frank's Red Hot. I was like, that's not hot. I said, that's like 90% vinegar. It's like basically just having salt. There's no spices. I'm going to go get something. So I went back and got my Dave's Insanity. And they always played off like they really love hot stuff. I said, here, just put a little bit. I said, no, I'll just put a little drop right there on your piece of chicken, a little bit on yours. So it was Pumpkin and Booby were next door. They were the ones that were.
What?
Well, those were their. Everybody has nicknames where I grew up, and it was Pumpkin.
Not my neighborhood.
Well, in mine it was. There's Pumpkin, Booby, and there's.
It's like all the ghetto names.
You know? Well, Joe, what was your nickname in the neighborhood?
Bud Bundy. Because everybody said I looked like Bud Bundy. Well, no.
Wait. They said you look like Bud Bundy?
Yeah, so it was always, they said you look like Bud Bundy. So I was always Bud. Everybody always called me Bud, but they said.
See, that's interesting now. You've finally given us a hint of what you might look like.
Grandmaster B underneath the mask.
Grandmaster B. What's up, who that whale? So, anyways, I put a little drop on pumpkins and put a little bit on boobies. And pumpkin.
Are you saying boobies? Boobies?
Yeah, no, he put some hot sauce on boobies.
No, not Boobies. Boo-Bee. That was her nickname. Boobies.
Boo-P or Boo-Bees?
Boo-Bee, but not plural. Singular. Just Boo-Bee. Just like one boob.
One titty.
Does she have one tit?
No, shut up. So it was Booby and Pumpkin, and first I put it on Pumpkins, and Pumpkin had the bite, and I was like, so what do you think? And she sat there, she's like, it's okay after about 45 seconds. She's like, I don't think it's real hot. And I was like, and I was shocked it didn't get her. I was like, okay. I said, here we go, Booby. And I put it on hers, and she had it. And after about 20 seconds, she's like, what the fuck? She's like, oh, fuck, this is hotter than shit. And she ran in the house, and then Pumpkin stuff. She's like, yeah, that motherfucker's hot. And then she ran in there, too. She was playing it off because she wanted to see her sister suffer. And I loved it. So every time I went, over there on the weekends and stuff, I would say, want some hot sauce? They said, fuck your hot sauce. So I always love Davis Hetton saying it. Makes me think of Pumpkin and Booby.
I never knew that Joe was like a hot sauce connoisseur.
Oh, I love it. Like I said, it ain't the hottest in the world, but if you guys haven't had Dave's, it's good. It's a good tasting, and it's got heat, but it's not the super hottest. But, yeah, this will help you if you got some colds. So there's my hot sauce. I had some of this right before we started because I had to clear myself before we started.
Like Joe's just like snorting it up his nose and just dumping it down his throat. He's got it running down his mouth and just kind of passes out like he's had too much Sudafed.
I never had a moment when I talked to you, Tyler, and Nathan, you guys are just kind of sitting there like, dead silent, like you didn't even know what to do. Like, I don't know where to go from here.
How do I respond to this story?
Well, all right, I will respond to it this way. This week we were talking about ABC's TGIF programming, and Janusz actually brought up. He's like, I didn't know what that was. And I was actually going to address that for our international viewers because I imagine they may have had.
Because Joe assumes everybody is still watching Family Matters to this day. Like they don't watch anything else except The Adventures of Carl and Urkel.
They had good chemistry. Good chemistry.
Anyway, for our international viewers, basically here in the States, the ABC channel had a block of programming on Friday nights, which is how it got the TGIF name, which you think, thank God it's Friday, thank goodness it's Friday. I think the tagline for this was, I had it in my head. Yeah. Trying to read really quick. It's something like, thank goodness it's funny or something.
We always said it. Thank God it's Friday because we weren't afraid of pissing off atheists.
Yeah, that's what it was. But anyway, multiple programs and over the years because it kind of really hit its stride in the early 90s and probably close to the late 90s, early 2000s is when it started to fall off. But man,
I'd say sooner than that.
Yeah, yeah, but a laundry list because Joe hit me up with, well, let's talk about Family Matters, and I'm like, no,
I can't talk an hour or an hour and a half about Family Matters. I just can't do it.
So then I was like, well, let's do TGIF because then we can talk about Step by Step and dinosaurs, and honestly, my personal favorite, Boy Meets World. That's just.
I thought you were gonna say Full House.
No. You thought I was going to say Hanging with Mr. Cooper is what you thought.
No, I thought Full House because Nathan for years has always liked to reference Jesse and the Rippers. And then he knocks it so much, and then he's like, "You got to see that crap they got on Netflix." In episode 1, Stephanie's doing this.
Oh man,
Fuller for
House.
Someone who doesn't like the show that much, you seem like you watched an awful lot of it.
I've watched. I think I have seen every episode of Full House multiple times.
The original Full House?
Yes, and I've watched most of Fuller House, and that show is shit. If you thought Full House was bad, then like this is 1,000 times worse. It's fucking terrible. It's hey, you remember that? Isn't it great? And then Dave Coulier shows up, and he's still doing his lame ass shtick.
Oh,
cut it out! And I'm just like, fuck off. I've never liked Dave Coulier. He sucks. Only thing he knew how to do was Rocky and Bullwinkle impressions and
Popeye.
That was
it.
And then
and that woodchuck character, that puppet, he used to do a puppet show on there.
Ranger Joe, Ranger Joe, man, fuck. But I mean,
that's one I rarely watched. I mean, I watched like maybe a couple episodes of Full House, but I couldn't do it.
Now, how was that? How was that, Joe? When TGIF started, it was Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step. And I know it changed a lot. Perfect Strangers, because I remember watching that on Friday nights.
Hell, didn't even Perfect Strangers, isn't that like the oldest out of all of them, I think?
Yeah, because it came on, I think, 86. And I guess because the show was still going on, so they moved to the big, TGIF.
Yeah, like that. It moved into that block.
Actually, I have it all up here, and Full House and Perfect Strangers sort of went hand in hand.
Really? Well, I just couldn't go to Full House because Perfect Strangers, I just love that damn chemistry with, Balky and Cousin Larry. And damn it, I doing the Dance of Joy, all the crazy hijinks they would get into. It was going from that kind of insanity to then watching Full House with a whole bunch of different kids and different people. It just, the mix wasn't, it just didn't work for me. I was like, I'm not laughing when I watch. I'm laughing my ass off with Perfect Strangers and crazy shit like that episode when Larry wanted to learn how to fight. So then Cousin Balky, he's sitting there doing the ninja shit. Remember, he's hiding up like on the mantle, and he looks like he's like part of one of the ornaments, or part of the tapestry in the background. And Larry comes in, and when he's looking for looking for Balky, and then suddenly he comes down, and they're doing that whole ninja shit routine. I mean, there was a lot of things they do that just had me laughing my ass off. And plus, there's some hot people, of course. They had the one that would play, Larry's girlfriend, and
I always had a crush on Larry's girlfriend as a kid.
Yeah, because
she was real hot.
Oh, yeah, because that one, I think that was Jennifer. She was like, she was just like smoking hot. And then Marianne, which was the cute little one for Balky, I was like, she's fucking hot too. She has that little squeaky voice. But I was like, Jennifer and Marianne both hot. But I just liked it. And I think that's where, like, even Harriet from Family Matters, she spun off from that because she was like I couldn't remember if she ran the elevators or whatever in the one building she worked at, but of course that was spun off and eventually they had Family Matters. I couldn't even remember if Carl was in an episode of Perfect Strangers. I'd have to, God, it's been so long since I've seen it, but it was just, I love that, the slapstick stuff of Perfect Strangers. But Full House, I wasn't into it. I don't know. I got annoyed by the little baby girl.
Michelle, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she looked like looked like some kind of like little living doll monster. Just
and that's sort of the tropes that a couple of these shows fell into. It's like you had Michelle in this, you had Urkel on Family Matters, and basically people were tuning into these shows just to hear that you got it, dude. And it's like, isn't it great? It's awesome.
Even as a kid, I thought that wasn't lame. I thought she was obnoxious. I didn't like. I was more interested in what DJ and Stephanie were doing, and then all the adults, like with Joey and Jesse and Bob Saget's character. I can't remember his name on the show, but the father. I was more interested in everything except Michelle, and that was what people were. I mean, my granny even had the Michelle doll and the Urkel doll on display in her house.
Wait, they had a Michelle doll?
Yeah.
And it was a pull string, and she would say, "You got it, dude." Urkel said, "You got any cheese?" And
I like the Urkel doll. Yeah, him and all his damn catchphrases. Who would have thought that a show that it wasn't even about him, remember? He was just that neighbor that eventually he just caught fire with the fans and was on. And poor Judy got her ass written off the show. A lot of people even forgot that, the younger sister, Judy, even was part of that damn show.
Her and Rachel both got written off the show at some point. Because I used to think Rachel was so pretty, and then all of a sudden she's just not on the show anymore. And then she would show up randomly and
because Delma Hopkins, she was like on Give Me a Break too, and some other shows. And you're right, I do remember her character Rachel. You're talking about the mother of Lil Richie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she was hot, and then bam, she was off the show too. But it kind of then revolved basically around Urkel, and then of course here came Myra. See, that's the thing. I always wanted Steve and Laura really, to get together. But then when Myra came, I was like, oh, this girl's fucking hot. She was so damn cute. It's like, oh yeah, we gotta see Steve with her. And
I have no idea. I can't remember who Myra was.
You don't remember her? She was really obnoxious, but she was really hot. God rest her soul, though. She actually passed away.
Yeah, poor thing did pass away. I felt horrible when I heard that news. God, but she was such a cute shit. I mean, but just
I'm gonna have to look her up real quick because I do not recall her at all.
Yeah, she was always like really jealous and was just very protective.
Yeah, her name's Michelle Thomas. If you're looking up names, her name's Michelle Thomas. She played.
Isn't it amazing how Joe knows all of these names, but when it comes to other stuff that we talk about, it's just like
the one thing that he claims he knows so much about, He-Man. He's like, I don't know, guys.
Like what?
But he knows obscure characters from Family Matters. What's her name again?
Michelle Thomas. But she's hot as shit. But the poor thing passed away. I couldn't remember if it was something due to.
I think it was like I want to say it was brain cancer or something like that.
I couldn't remember if it was kidney or I mean I don't know. But damn, that was heartbreaking to hear. How,
okay, I vaguely remember her now. Yeah.
Yeah, because she became a main staple character later in the seasons.
She's very hot, but
yeah.
I don't remember her as vividly on the show. Like, I mean, I remember more stuff like when Urkel had his alternate personality when he had that machine. Yeah, already had the robot version of himself.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I like the robot. I even like the crazy animator. Remember when Steve or whatever, when he was that evil puppet that came to life, that one little mini one that they had. Remember, it was the Halloween specials where they had
remember that.
Oh damn! There was these puppet Urkels, and then of course, it came to life, and he was Steve or some crazy shit. But he did his Bruce Lee one. I love the episode when he got injected with a little bit of Bruce Lee, and he did some good shit. I was actually emulating him well. But yeah, when Stefan Urkel came around, and then it was Stefan and Laura, then it was like, okay, now it's Steve and Myra, but you still always wanted to have Steve and Laura eventually get together, which then in the final season they let that happen. It was something that they said, okay, we got to finally give this to fans before it's gone.
Yeah, but in that final season, didn't it moved from ABC to CBS?
Yeah, it just CBS. The ratings dropped just dramatically once it did that, and then it was gone because I couldn't even remember if we got the proper wedding. He was like in space for the final episode, and I was like, I wanted a real wedding.
Yeah, that's when it just got like stupid.
Because I got pissed because I was like, we're sitting there waiting this whole time to finally see them get married. And because of that shit move to CBS and the drop in ratings, like, we didn't get it. And I always felt like, I was left with, like, we didn't get to have that final moment.
This is his Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah, shit. Rant. No, please don't start that because I hate that. I hate thinking about Dungeons and Dragons. They didn't fucking finish it. They had the final episode script written out and everything else, and it was doing great in the ratings. They decided to just take it off fucking TV, and we could have finally had that final episode. Damn it. But, yeah, so anyways, yeah, Family Matters I love this shit out of that. And you're right, the chemistry with Steve and Carl, it worked great. And you're right, there was only so many times with the, did I do that? Could they... Yeah. It couldn't keep being funny.
And I never laughed at it. I always liked him showing up and dealing with Carl and flirting with Laura. Like, because, you're watching, you want him to get the girl.
Yeah.
Because he's the nerd. So, I sympathize with him a lot. And, it's still to this day one of my favorite episodes that I haven't watched it. None of these shows I've watched. It's probably been 20 years since I've watched any of these shows. Probably more than that. But, when Carl and Urkel show up on American Gladiators.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that episode because I had never got to watch the show American Gladiators until I saw that because I didn't know when it came on or if it came on in our area. So
I like, too, that they also had a wrestling episode as well.
Oh, yeah. Didn't the Bushwhackers show up in that episode?
Yeah.
I remember watching that. Like, that's the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, those are the ones that stick out to me because I was thinking about Family Matters just in general, and I'm just like, there's only a handful of these that really stick out to me. I think one of the other ones, and I'll let you get back to the American Gladiators thing, is when
see, I'm hoping you're going to say it.
What? No, well, I mean, that's one, but I was thinking of more like serious in tone when why can I not think of the oldest son's name?
Eddie.
Edward.
Yeah, when he gets pulled over and that cop's just like really shitty to him,
and then he has that scene with that in the. Oh, that was the one where Carl. Remember, is that the one you're going to talk about where he was talking with that other officer when they're in that diner about that whole thing?
Yep.
And that was powerful.
Yeah, no, and that was kind of the beauty of these shows, and like while Full House overall kind of hokey really sucks, it was still like a decent show for the whole family. But I like that in these shows they did occasionally sprinkle like, here's a serious thing that's happening, and that I always appreciated that. But Tyler, I'll let you get back to the American Gladiators.
Oh no, it was just something I remember watching because when we would stay at my granny's house, we'd always stay on Friday nights, and we would always make a point to watch TGIF there, and we'd also watch it at home too. And I remember just like her laughing hysterically at Urkel on the rolling log, holding on to it, going, and we're all just like, I just think it was so funny. And I would always look for the rolling log because of that segment on Family Matters. And of course, when Larry Johnson shows up on the show to be Urkel's partner in the basketball tournament, because Eddie wants to play with the spider and he turns down Urkel to play.
You see, Khalil White's got some skills with that ball, though. Yeah, is Urkel. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was. I remember when Grandmama comes to the door and Urkel's like, you know, who are you? Like, I'm Grandmama. I'm like, oh man, it was so cool, and because I was so like, oh man, he left Urkel to play with the Spider, man, that's messed up, and I was so pumped to watch them take on Eddie and the Spider in the tournament, and Larry Johnson dunking that the only way Larry Johnson could dunk, man, God, he had some of the most powerful. He was up there with Sean Kemp in terms of attitude and strength because he was so, I mean, muscular and big, and oh, it was so cool. He walks over with his cap tooth and his glasses and everything. It was I was so livid when I saw that. So cool.
No, it was a great show, and it had a great mix of characters. You know, some that were in there more than often, but I mean, even when they had, you know, Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo, remember Eddie's best bud. You know, at one time when he first remember he's the one that always said, "Cool." Remember when he's like,
I always like it in the intro for the show where the basketball just hits him in the side of the head.
Oh yeah,
that always cracked me up because he's just got like that high fade too. That always reminded me of shit. What were those?
Kid and Play?
Yeah, like what were it was
Class Act and House Party.
Yeah. It just always seeing that haircut makes me think of those guys.
Yeah, and the thing is, you could tell it looked like he was always ready, you know, for that ball to hit his face. Every time I watch the intro, like he was ready, and then boom, it hits him. But he was, I couldn't remember. You remember, hey Willie, when he was like in the school, and it was him and Willie and Waldo. They were both kind of bad guys, but Waldo was more the sidekick to Willie, and Willie was like a bully in the school. And it was weird that he started off being a bully, but then became kind of like a good guy and Eddie's buddy then. So, yeah, but it's just a damn good show. I love Family Matters, but there's so much I could say about it, but I won't say no more because we can move on to another one. But damn, yeah, I love some Family
I think it's it was also cool as well because we were still in a time period where there weren't many sitcoms that focused on African American families.
The Cosby's being one of the big shows on TV.
Yeah, but even still, like there's at that time, there still just weren't that many yet.
This could be probably the most family centric because if you're we're not going to talk about comedies like In Living Color or Hanging with Miss Cooper, but no, as for a family, Family Matters. Yeah, I mean it was a great show, but it had, like you said, serious moments, but it had its comedy, more comedy than serious, but. I loved it. It was one of my favorites. It wasn't as much like, the Cosby Show had funny stuff, but it seemed like they tended to be a little more straightforward, serious, and comedy, but not more slapstick insanity like Family Matters.
Yeah, they kept it pretty like it felt. I mean, when you watch the Cosby Show now, and yes, I still like the Cosby Show if I ever see it, or it has nothing to do with what Bill Cosby has been found guilty of. Like,
that's always a tricky thing too, because we kind of never even really talked about this before. But in the instance of this with Bill Cosby, you say that you can still watch a show and enjoy despite what he's done. And there's people I've read about, like the Chris Benoit situation. There's people who are like, I'm never watching his matches again. But
you're out of your mind.
but I can still go back and watch his matches. And I guess I'll kind of pose that if Joe kind of has an issue or anything. Is there anything that's out there that you don't watch because of what the person had done?
See, no, not really. And that's the hard thing. It's like I told you, if there was a perfect world for me, which obviously doesn't exist, I hate knowing stuff that happens in real life with celebrities, whether it's when they're a wrestler and they have their wrestling persona, or if it's an actor in a role they play, and then some shit that happened in real life. I hate hearing, of course, whatever the hell happens in real life. It's like, oh God, this is disgusting. Whether somebody murder and rape or anything else, it's deplorable. It's like, as a human being, you'd hate him. You're like, that's rotten. But then you do look at a flip side. It's like, oh God, but I just remember loving the Cosby Show. I loved it. And it's like, I can't, even as horrible as what he's done. It's like, I don't think I could look at the show and say, God, now I hate it. It's weird. And
it does change it a little bit.
It changes, because then I'm thinking, okay, this is a guy who done something real horrible, and I hate to even say then. But, it's just me. I still love The Cosby Show. But then you wonder if there's people say, oh, Joe, you're despicable because you still like The Cosby Show.
I mean, there probably are people that would do that. And that's fine. Like, that's their opinion on it.
It's but I hate knowing real life shit. I guess that's why I don't even do behind the scenes stuff and all these interviews. It's like,
I blame it on the general public to think that, what, everyone's quick to forget that what we're watching is entertainment, and these people actually have other lives and lifestyles and personalities that we don't know and don't see. I mean, I think it's pretty well documented that most all the professional wrestlers were womanizers who, if they were married, they were cheating on their wives left and right. They're having threesomes every single night, picking out women that they want, but they're on TV telling kids, stay strong, and or that they're going to take care of the evil bad guy this week or whatever, or that in Hollywood, and it has been going on for years, that men and women and kids are objectified as sex objects in the entertainment business to get gigs, to get jobs, and go through these acts to get those jobs.
It's kind of fucked up, isn't it?
It is, and that's what kind of makes me feel like, it doesn't justify what a lot of the actors that have done to women and children over the years, especially to children, not to downplay what's been done to women, but I do, because kids are innocent, and it goes for young boys and young girls. But I also feel like, I mean, I've heard stuff like that since I was a kid. Like, it's kind of alluded to that's what people do. You perform certain favors and things like that, and then you get big parts in movies. And if some of them are coming out and saying that, like, I remember Angelina Jolie came out and said that she was, approached by Harvey Weinstein, but she's one of the biggest actresses in Hollywood even today. I'm like, okay, well, apparently it wasn't a big deal to you back then. Where were your morals back then?
That's where it gets kind of weird, because
I just kind of feel like some of these, it almost feels like, look, if you felt the situation that you were in was probably not the best or the most comfortable, you should have just got up and left the room. It doesn't justify what Bill Cosby did.
Yeah.
I just feel like, look, I kind of feel like...
I think the part of it that blows my mind about the whole thing, and I guess it's just they're wanting to protect their spot, and they don't want to piss the wrong people off because they don't want to... But at the same time, too...
How important is it, though?
Well, that's the thing. Like, me as an individual, if I was going through these situations during that time, I don't think I would have been quiet about anything. I would have, stood and just be like, yeah, this is fucked. But, we don't know. We're not there.
No, we're not there. I hope no one takes this in the way where I'm sitting there saying that what was done, like, well, you should have known better. Like, well, to a certain extent, yes, but also it does not justify and give people a pass for doing what they did.
Yeah.
It's Bill Cosby using his position and exploiting, impressionable women who were around one of the biggest TV stars of the decade and comedians, and he's going to take advantage of that. That's wrong, but it doesn't take away the fact that I can still watch a Chris Benoit match, because it has nothing to do with his personal life, because he's not the wrestler. That's a character he's playing and pretending to be the rabid Wolverine, toothless aggression. It's all an act. Well, Bill Cosby's the wholesome dad with the crazy sweaters.
Honestly, for me, I know it's weird, but I try not to think about the crazy stuff. It's like all that stuff that's happening in the news. Like, when I hear about it, I more hear about that something's been done, but I don't know all the stuff, because it's like, I know people say, Joe, you shouldn't put on blinders like that. You should know the reality of what's happening half the time. But it's like, I just hate seeing. I hate all the stuff that happens.
Sometimes you have to,
but it's none of our business, though. I feel like, like when it came out that Arnold had a child with another woman, when still married to Maria. I hated hearing it, but I'm not going to stop being an Arnold fan, because it's none of my business. That's their personal private business, and unfortunately, the media got a hold of it and turned it into a feeding frenzy. I don't know what Arnold and Maria's marriage was like. It does justify him cheating on her, even though he had a history of messing around in the 80s, of course. But I still feel like I'm not going to stop watching Predator and take down all my posters because Arnold had a child with another woman, because I don't support infidelity. I don't support cheating. But I'm not going to turn on Arnold because of that, because that's his business. The same thing.
To you, it's in a similar vein of, you're talking about Chris Benoit. It's like, yes, that's Arnold as a person, but in Predator, he is Dutch.
He's Dutch, and and Arnold.
It gets a little murky. I'm sorry for kind of bringing it. I kind of feel like we just brought the show down.
It's like when Hulk Hogan caught on tape, speaking in racist terms, and I hated hearing that, but he's still my favorite wrestler, and I think he's paid his dues. And
I think that's why I enjoy doing, usually when we'll talk about, cartoons and other things. It's like I brought up on the podcast before, like when we're comparing to sports celebrities and sports and, action figures, comics, and cartoons. Is I always say, at least our cartoon characters, at least hopefully they'll never let us down. Obviously, they're not going to end up being these rapists and murderers and bigots and racists and all this shit, because they're the embodiment of what you think should be good in the world. And That's Joe's blinders. I hate the bad shit in the world. I just.
But you know what? I say I can't fault you at all for feeling that way. I mean, because for me personally, I don't watch the news because it's always sad, depressing stuff. I get nothing out of it. It does not affect my daily routine of going to work, going to the gym. So I don't need to sit down and watch Dateline or the NBC News at 7:00 and see, look at all the sad, depressing stuff going on in the Far East.
Yeah, I can't watch
What's going on over? I'm like, I don't need to see people's murders and deaths and rapes and stuff.
And it's honestly, I notice it a lot on social media. I look at Facebook, and it's just funny that things go viral now. It's like, well, someone did something nice for somebody. Oh my God, did you see that? It's like, are we really this low now that it's just like you do something nice and it's just gonna blow up because nice things never happen anymore?
Yeah, the news is always full of bad shit, so it's rare to hear good shit. But we'll get back to some good stuff real quick.
I was gonna say, let's turn this shit.
I don't know if I said
we went from wholesome family matters to decrepit acts behind the scenes.
Eric Amon, thank you for joining us. If I didn't say it already, and hey, I didn't know if you guys have got your Mumra yet. Did you?
No, we have got no notification. And why is that you guys are getting them in stores and we haven't even gotten ours? And we pre-ordered them,
and they're 25% off at GameStop. So they're like just
you know what? I might actually go to GameStops today and see if I can find them, because my Amazon order, dude, like. It's shipping 3 of them together, and it's like, we'll email you when it's ready. And then the other one, the Panthro, is it's saying between November 26th and January or something. I'm about to.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine say at work that he pre-ordered from Toy Wiz. His got delayed till January, he said.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, how much were they through your ordering or whatever?
Like $11.99 a piece.
Yeah,
I think it's like total like $55 for all.
Okay, because
shipping.
Yeah, because I think the same thing with here was like they end up just being under $11, but for whatever reason, Slithe with the 25% off was only $8.99 at GameStop. I'm like, why is Slithe cheaper? I didn't understand that. I was like, it's basically the same.
I'm gonna go check for those today, because it kind of pissed me off, and I'm ready to just cancel my order. Honestly,
it's annoying. It is annoying. But just one thing. This is gonna be the stupidest thing. But if you ever want to do it with the shadow, or you can have your nephews or nieces do it. But okay, look at Mumra's headdress with the snakes. What's weird is I was sitting there looking at this figure, and a memory came back to me that I haven't thought about since I was a kid watching Thundercats. I used to go out in the sun.
Steal all the kids' Thundercats figures.
I used to go in the sun. I'd get a shadow, but I would take my hands and do this cross wave my arms like this, and I look like Mumra in the shadow. I was cracking up. I was dying, and I'm laughing doing it now because I used to do that. I'd just go and have that sun get the back of me, and I would do the Mumra thing with my arms crossed like that. Oh, God, I need fucking help. But yeah, so
Joe,
would you accept the help if we bought you help, Joe? Or you tell us? I'm sorry, guys. I just can't unless we send the help to your door. I think it's the only way Joe's going to accept this help.
Oh my God, Joe, you continue to amaze me each week with your hot sauce for his allergies and.
Oh God,
hanging out naked in the bushes, stealing Happy Meals from kids.
Oh God, Booby and Pumpkin, that had me dying though. When Tyler was like, "What? Huh?"
Yeah.
And you're both
and they're both women, Booby and Pumpkin.
Yeah, well, Pumpkin, not with the MP, just an
I know. I said punk, like you've been punked. Pumpkin.
Oh yeah, okay, yep, Pumpkin, Pumpkin and Booby. So, all right. Well, hey, let's go back.
All right. Did you guys watch Step by Step at all?
Yeah.
That.
Can I ask one thing?
Yes.
What's the episode now? This is what's weird. It's like my memory is screwing with me. Wasn't there the one episode of Family Matters? Steve parachuted at the end of Family Matters into the beginning of Step by Step.
I thought he was like wearing like a rocket pack, and it like he flew across and ends up crashing into like their picnic table.
Yes, thank you. That was it. Okay, good. I knew there was some kind of crazy memory, so I knew. All right, good. So that was his way of going from there to there, a little crossover. Good. Oh, but yeah, go ahead. You guys can talk about it, then I will.
You brought it up.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, just like. To think about it now, a sitcom with Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers as your leads. Now, Suzanne Summers, Three's Company. She was
all the girls in Three's Company.
Still hot. Though. Still smoking.
Yeah, she's still hot. Yeah.
I see. I didn't really. I didn't dig her that much.
Fuck off. No,
I think it like because she had the. It was long hair, but it was just like crimped and really frizzy.
Oh, I love that look. I love crimped. Oh God, man, it's pitching a tent right now thinking about that crimped hair, man.
It smelled
good too.
Hard dingers all around, boys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, God, but like now, Stacey Keenan, the one who played Dana, now she was on Remember My Two Dads at first.
Oh man,
so
she was such a snot though on the show.
Well,
God,
the thing
it just
is,
drove me nuts.
I had a hot thing for her for My Two Dads, but when she came out of this, she was kind of snobbish and mean. But
yeah, she was kind of. But then when she dyed her hair blonde,
she dyed her hair.
It changed everything.
And then when she got, remember the one buddy, Rich, when they became boyfriend and girlfriend, then it seemed like she started being nicer. Honestly, though, Karen Foster, the one that played the older sister, she never did it for me. She, in fact, looked like she kept getting skinnier and skinnier. I hope the poor thing didn't have an issue of like with weight or eating. I didn't know if she had a disorder, but she appeared to be getting real skinny. But I never like I said, I didn't care for Karen. But then who would have thought little Al was going to grow up?
Oh, I had to think for her when the show came on. I'm like, for a tomboy, this girl's really hot.
And she got smoking hot as those seasons. I mean, as the show progressed, and even till this day, I was like, God damn. So all of them, Jesus. But you go ahead and talk a little bit more about it. But good show. Whew.
Well, I'm gonna agree that she was the hottest. I'm just sitting here looking at the page step by step because I want to have character names. I didn't like JT that much at all. Like he was always just a fucking douchebag. Because I always looked at these shows of, especially when kids are in them, like, are these people that I would want to hang out with? And he was not one of them.
Cody was the guy I wanted to hang out with.
I brought him on later. Cousin Cody was always the cool guy.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he was the reason. When I got a little bit older as a kid, I kind of realized what Cody was for the show. Like he was like that extra punch. Apparently, they felt like the show needed something extra, and so they bring in him.
Yeah, it worked. That little Brendan, always the young kids, like he was always forgettable. Nobody gave a shit about the youngest boys. Yeah. Like he was forgettable, and then even at parts it seemed like then Karen, the oldest daughter, was forgettable. It was it was all about Al and JT and Dana, and then of course
and sometimes Mark, the nerdy,
Yeah, he had his parts, but you're right, kind of got to the wayside. But yeah, here came Cody, and it changed. Because it was more at one point. It seemed like JT and Dana were always arguing and always had issues, and they still did later on.
Well, you can tell like these siblings wanted to sleep with each other. It's just like JT had a thing for her, and I think Cody even. I always kind of thought there was like this underlying like sexual tension between like some of them, just because
they're just sneaking over to each other's rooms at night.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Brady Bunch. They're brother sister by marriage, not by blood. So even though people would still say it's your sister-in-law, I'm like, but we're not actual sisters though. So if Cody and one of the sisters like snuck off to his van, I'm like, way to go, dude. Wouldn't hold it against him. Plus, he was the younger of the Sloan brothers in kickboxer too, so he knew his stuff when he taught Mark how to do karate.
See, that was always weird for me when we rented those sequels and he was in them. I was like, that's Cody, man. It was so weird just to see him playing a character that wasn't just, hey guys.
I was so excited when I heard there was a sequel. I was like, oh yeah, they're going to have some more Van Damme. And I was like, what the fuck's Cody doing in here? So
and he did all of the sequels, right? Like
except 5.
Did he?
He did do Redemption.
Okay.
I couldn't watch it.
He did 2, 3, and 4.
I was done right when I seen part 2 and I seen that it wasn't Van Damme, it was him. I just quit. I was like, I'm not watching no more of these. So I've never seen any of the other kickboxers.
I never saw 3. I saw part of 4 somewhere. I'm like, oh man, this is terrible. But and 2 is unwatchable now. But as a kid, I was brokenhearted because you find out they kill off the Kurt Sloan character Van Damme in the movie, and then Tom Poe kills him. But Michelle Casey was back as Tom Poe. So I'm like, wow, Tom Poe's actually back, and trying to buy the fact that there was a younger brother when there's no mention of it. But I bought into it because Zine was back too. And the movie's all in slow motion. It's a bad, bad movie now. But back then I was like, I bought it because it was Cody and ties to the first film. So I tried to accept it as best I could. But, it's unwatchable now, man.
Yeah.
And speaking of the whole thing of people doing shit outside of their work, I do actually remember this when he got written out of the show because he had those domestic violence charges. Because I remember he did. He like beat the shit out of his girlfriend. No, yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah, because my mom always watched Entertainment Tonight, and she still does. And that was one of the things that like showed his mugshot, and it's like blah blah blah. And then it comes to find out like he got written out of the show, which is why what's his name?
Bronson Pinchot.
Yeah, he basically came in and replaced him as the
John or whatever was it? Or
annoying.
I must have stopped watching around this time because I don't remember any.
Yeah, super annoying. Like he comes in to help with the salon, right? Like he works in the salon.
Is he playing like the character like he is a Beverly Hills Cop?
Not really. I know what you're talking about when he did it, but no. But yeah, he came in as Jean-Luc later. Yeah, Serge, how may I help you? He's like, I just sold one of these myself. What is $130,000? Get the fuck out of here! Oh, I'm serious. I sold it myself. But yeah, it was Jean-Luc. He came in later. But yeah, no, for me it was always just having Dana and JT with their shit back and forth, and Rich. I always felt like, damn, I wish I was Rich, because I'd love to be with Dana. But then later, Al, it's like, if you guys haven't seen what Christine Lakin looks like now, Jesus Christ, you need to, God damn, just look.
Well, I mean, she was stunning back then. I mean, like in the Urkel crossover when I guess she's like didn't have a date for the dance, so Urkel plays her date. I'm like, man, she's so hot, and they're doing like the whole like Urkel's teaching all the kids how to dance, like, you know, as if like, you know, kids don't know how to dance, but Urkel's going to show everybody how this is how you dance, guys, and you know, just looking back at it, like I thought it was the coolest thing ever seeing this crossover of these two shows that I like. But
it was cool. I always miss the theme songs
too.
Rewatch
it, though.
Like what the fuck happened? That's what I mean. TGIF. I miss those kind of good family, funny comedies. Like, but
I mean, like I still had the Family Matters song like verbatim in my head, but
yeah.
Step by Step was one I never liked. I never liked the theme song for that at all.
Step by step,
God,
day by day.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, Family Matters had a good one. Perfect Strangers had a great one.
I like Perfect Strangers was catchy, but they're not in the sense where you like want to jam out to your car in.
But what happened
like
though? But that's my question. What happened to just good ass fucking theme songs for shows nowadays? Like they're extinct. It's like a quick little tune at the beginning, boom, gone. It's like, oh, that's great.
Well, I mean, there's not even, to me, honestly, there's not even that many good sitcoms now, and
right?
And you could just sort of see the decline with Raymond Blows the Milkman and all that other stuff.
Yeah, where it's just like a piano beat on, you know, and that's
everybody loves Raymond.
Well, that's a George Carlin reference when Raymond blows the milkman. It was his way of slamming the show.
Okay. Yeah, Big Bang is probably
Wait, what?
I don't fucking know. Yeah, Big Bang is probably the last sitcom that I've enjoyed.
I'm sick of that show.
No, all right. You know what? I want to talk about this for a second because that show started off really, really good, and then it's like once all of them started getting the girls and being in relationships and getting married, it's like what do
you do from there? So that's why they're ending it this season. It's like, you're right, you can't keep going. The whole pursuit of dates for girls, for what's going to happen, you're right, that's gone, and now they got to do more.
Well, it seems like the nerd culture of the show's kind of been pushed aside too. It's like, oh, we got to see what kind of hijinks Amy Farrah Fowler has this week.
I think that's why they're going to end it. You know, I mean, they might as well, just like you said, there's no sense in them keep going. I mean, I've still enjoyed it. You're right, it was great, you know, in the earlier seasons, and yes, slightly went off because they had to, what the fuck can they do now? But yeah, they're ending it now, but that's what I mean. It's like, what the hell else can they do for any kind of sitcoms? It's just everything now seems fake and forced. I've tried to watch.
Well, and that's kind of when I would watch like a lot of the comic book references. I mean, sometimes you're like, okay, probably nobody else is going to get that reference, but for the most part, I kind of feel like I don't think that's proper portrayal of comic book geeks and nerds in that sense. Like some of it kind of feels like what other people assume comic book fans and nerds of movies and science fiction and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I guess just because I'm like that myself, so I nitpick some of that stuff a little, probably more than what the general public would. But I just kind of felt like, you know, I'd rewatch those first like 3 or 4 seasons so many times because I really enjoyed a lot of the comic book talk and their discussions. But then it just kind of feels like it's not funny anymore. Like yeah, I mean, and it wasn't too long after Nathan stopped liking it, and I continued to keep watching, and I'm like, I'm just not enjoying these new episodes that much anymore. It's just not funny. It doesn't have that rewatch factor.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm at least glad
it's just not funny.
Yeah, it's ended now, but at least hell, I mean, it was a good run. I mean, it's a long run that it's had. And also, hello, Wiley Walt in the chat room. Thank you for joining us.
Plus, it almost kind of feels like it takes away, along with like the current comic book movies too, that like if you were a comic book fan or you loved the science fiction stuff or fantasy, it was yours. Now it's being spread to the masses in this way that kind of feels like it's taken away the specialty of being a comic book fan because, you know, stuff like Big Bang Theory. Like I don't feel like it did any favors. You know, I do remember this though. When a girl that Nathan dated a while back. Her sister was what they did on Big Bang Theory, like a theoretical physicist or something like that.
No, she wasn't a physicist.
Well, I don't know what it was.
I don't remember what the fuck she was.
She told me what her job was.
Other than a bitch.
Theory. Yeah, well, she was that too.
No, oh man, she was just so grating and annoying and like smart assed and smarmy. Like you'd say something, she always had some sort of like and I'm just like, shut up, like just ugh. Always had a comment about something, anything. All right.
Don't you just hate personalities like that, where you just can't have a conversation about something, like someone has to force their way into your conversation and give their 2 cents? Like, what's that?
I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, it's like you need to hear what I have to say here. Like, you didn't ask for it, but damn it, you're going to hear it. You know, I can't stand personalities like that. Or you just can't share something like the three of us are sitting there talking. And and Mojo Jojo walks over to us. Yeah, well, I think Michael Myers is stupid.
Well, see you later.
Yeah, just stuff like that. I can't stand it. But anyway, she got real ugly with me when I said, like, Big Bang Theory, right? And I remember she just looked at me like, I just said, "Did you queef?" I might as well just said that. I probably would have gotten a better reaction than that.
So then you started referring to her as Amy Farrah Fowler, right? After that, or did you just call her? I can't remember.
I didn't see her that much, but I remember she was very unhappy with me saying that. I do remember that. And I was wearing an X-Men t-shirt, too, at the time.
Can we all just get up and do the Urkel dance?
No.
Can we just, all you have to do is the Urkel dance. All you have to do is lift up your pants, bend your knees, and stick out your pelvis. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't even remember how to do that dance, honestly.
I mean, Joe probably goes to like the local diner on Friday nights trying to pick up chicks, just doing
the Urkel dance. Just like how he said, remember he said, now if you want to do the Urkel dance, all you have to do is hitch up your pants. No, I won't keep going. Okay, I'm telling you, baby, it's better than Elvis. But so now let's talk about a show that I didn't watch. I'm curious if you guys did, but I never had a desire to.
Dinosaurs,
I remember. Knocked the Mama, and it was okay. It was all right, but no, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I didn't watch.
I have nothing to say about it because I never watched.
I think I watched probably some of that first season, and I was like, I mean, it's fine. Like, my main thing of even checking out to begin with is Melissa Joan Hart, because I really liked her, and Clarissa, and I was just like, all right, yeah. So I watched, and I was like,
have a question. What's Clarissa?
I knew he was going to say that.
I don't know. Sorry.
You never watched Clarissa? Yeah, it was a Nickelodeon
live action Nickelodeon show. Yeah, in like the early '90s, and they were doing like a lot of original programming. Like they were doing like stuff in syndication, like bringing over. You can't do that on television. Double Dare was one of their original shows,
it's just called Clarissa. That's it, just Clarissa.
No, Clarissa explains it all, and it's what she's a junior high girl who talks to the audience, but but everyone else isn't aware of it. She goes through dealing with her snobby Republican brother, her goofball white bread parents, and deals with bullies or her buddy Sam and stuff like that. Kind of going through like problems and scenarios that kids at that time could find somewhat relatable, like fighting over who's watching the TV. Playing games on her computer because she would like come up with her own computer games and play them on her computer and stuff. So it was just a fun little kid show along with all the animation that was coming out at that time too. But that's what I knew her from too. But I had no interest in watching Sabrina. I knew of the comic book and the character, but I was like, I have no interest in watching that or Clueless, which I tried watching. I'm like, this show sucks, man.
Yeah, like the movie's. All right,
I enjoyed the movie when it came out,
but the show does suck a lot.
Yeah,
let's go to a show we did watch, and we go to Boy Meets World.
Yes.
Damn it, that was
this is one that I think Tyler's just sort of middle of the road on. I don't.
I loved it as a kid, but like all the shows we're talking about, I've had no desire whatsoever to go back and revisit any of them. I just have not cared. They're all available on DVD. I don't know if Step by Step is, but. I've seen Family Matters to buy on DVD. I've seen Full House. I've seen Boy Meets World, and I love Boy Meets World. Like when that show came out, I watched all these shows faithfully every Friday. I didn't miss any of them. And when Boy Meets World, like I loved it. And even when he got to junior high, I enjoyed it. But then I kind of lost interest as they got a bit older. And it's kind of one of those things. Like I just didn't find it as enjoyable, or I just lost interest. I can't remember what the real reason was, but I loved it. I thought Topanga was hot.
Yeah. Joe's gonna get into this. We actually had a conversation. Joe and I did back and forth, sending gifts of Topanga to each other.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, Jesus, talk about how somebody got so hot and hot. Like, well,
well, the thing for me is like in the later seasons, she's not as hot. I think for me, peak hotness Topanga was like season 3, season 4. Because I'm actually Boy Meets World is a show that I watch over and over a lot. I actually have season 4 DVD there in the bedroom.
Okay. The bedroom? That sounds a little disturbing, Nathan. Why did you stress it?
He's got to watch Topanga before he's like, all right, girl, I'm ready now.
I mean, what a way to describe it. I got it in my bedroom.
Like, I got a TV in the bedroom. I put the DVD in, put it on repeat, so just sit at menu music, and I fall asleep to it at night.
Oh, yeah, the same was I just watched Boy Meets World. You stress bedroom.
I fall asleep to it at night.
Instead of watching porn, you watch The Adventures of Corey and Mr. Feeney, Mr. Feeney.
Son of a bitch. Well, it's a show that I liked. It definitely changed in dynamics. Obviously, the first season early on, it was more like just the family and the antics of the friendship of Corey and Sean, though, through the whole series. It was great, even to when they got pissed at each other. It was kind of weird seeing when they were fighting and shit. It's like, wow. But you could relate because you probably had that when you had a best friend. You always had great times, but maybe there was that one time you got pissed and you might have had a physical altercation or got pissed. I thought you two even said you had an issue.
We have, yeah. We had our own Sean Corey.
Tyler and I have never thrown punches at each other, but we've definitely.
I wanted to. I definitely wanted to pick Nathan up and slam him against the locker, but I don't have it in me to do.
Well, yeah, because then he gets suspended. He get behind on his homework.
Yeah, and it wasn't worth it. I should just let him go because now I'm like I can't get all this homework, and then there's a test tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God.
you could just see him right there, like he's got me, and I'm just like this, and he pulls his fist back, but then he starts over analyzing everything, and he starts staring around like, oh God, wait, no, this and this, and then he just lets me go, and he's like,
was it at school when he did it?
Yeah, it was. Well, with the incident, yeah, it's.
You gotta tell us now.
The problems that we had did take place at school. Yes. Yeah. So we definitely
Well, let's hear the altercation. I mean, hell, we're talking about best friends. We're talking about like Corey and Sean. Tell us your Corey and Sean moment you had where you had him and you almost punched him, but you thought maybe I shouldn't or something.
I mean, well, I didn't, like I said, I never grabbed him or anything.
Yeah, he never grabbed me. You just see like that stern look on.
But I did approach him, face to face. We didn't do it over social media, guys. We actually if we had problems, we were, you had to do it face to face, people. But it started with I was moving on a girl that he liked, which looking back, I'm like, why did I find her attractive at all? That was what kind of started it, and then I remember there was tension there, and then I think it kind of went over, and then I started dating a girl. And I think because I wasn't sitting at the table as much in the mornings, he took my economics book and just hid it somewhere. And that was his way of revenge at getting at.
I had the combination to his locker because the way they did the locker banks, it's in alphabetical order. So his was. When I say locker banks, like, most people in normal high schools have them where they're just like lined
on
up
the walls. Yeah.
But we had just like rows of lockers just in a space. So with the way that my last name was, I would be like there in the middle, and there was always just people in and out. I was like, whatever. I didn't use a locker that much anyway. So he's like, hey, I'm on the outside here. Here's my combination. And I took his economics book, and I think we hid it in Megan's locker or something like that, or I had it in my book bag, but he got really, really pissed at me.
I guess just because it was one of those things where I was worried because they made you pay for those books if you lost them, and Nathan was the only one that had access to my locker, and I needed that book one day and it wasn't there, and it threw me for a loop, and he denied it when I asked him about it, of course. And then it just got to where he kept holding on to the book. And then I was worried that, because I told my dad, like, I don't have the book. And we're probably going to have to pay for it. And it's like, I'm fairly certain Nathan took it. And then I think I finally just had enough of it. And I just approached him in the locker banks. I was furious. I mean, it was red hot, and he's like, I don't have your book, man. And he did. He had it. And then it just, I think the only way I got it is that he kept denying it. So I finally had to because I'm not a physical person. I don't.
Oh
I don't
yeah. See, I completely blocked this part of this story out.
Where we had to get the assistant principal involved.
I remember this now because then I'm sitting in class and someone comes in. I'm pretty sure anyway. Maybe I'm wrong on this because this was just I totally blanked on this. I want to say someone came in the classroom and was like, "Hey, you need to go to the principal." And I'm like, "What the fuck for?" And I go in there and Tyler's sitting in there. I'm like, "Yes, motherfucker."
Motherfucker.
Well, it's either, like I said, I've even when my brother and I would wrestle, I never punched my brother, not once. He would want to punch me, but I just have never had the desire to really strike people because if anything in a fight, I'm more likely to pick someone up and throw them as opposed to like punch him or something like that. And it was one of those things where like Nathan kept denying it. I know he took it. And it's like the only way I could get him to just admit it is like, all right, well, I have to go down this route to get my book back. Otherwise, we got to pay for it. And I hated doing, it was just one of those things like I had no other choice. And,
See what you fucking did, Nathan? You are one.
All this was because, and I'm fairly certain, is like I wasn't sitting at the table with him and the rest of the guys in the morning because I had my first actual girlfriend at that time.
Doesn't this sound like an episode of like a sitcom? It kind of does.
Yeah, where it's like, get this now, like it wasn't just me and Nathan at the table. Like there was a lot of guys that were all surrounding Nathan in this group. So I was like the newest member of the group. So you kind of think that there was no shortage of people to talk to at the table. But when I would go sit with my girlfriend in the mornings, Nathan's like, I'm going to get him. I'm going to take his book and never give it back. Just
the things we do with books, he's stealing yours. I'm flushing shit down the toilet.
Again, one of the jerk-offs we've talked about on the podcast before, Jason Queen, actually took my English book, and I thought Nathan took that one too. And for some reason, that jerk-off just decided, I don't know why, he's one of the really idiotic preppy kids, if you don't remember the episode, that we despised in high school, just decided to take my book and hide it someplace and just never said anything about it. And as it turns out, I found out that he's the one that took the book. So naturally, I thought Nathan took it as well. When really
Poor Nathan got it back.
Yeah.
For the one crime he committed, he's getting accused of it again. See that shit? Mindless flushing in toilets to get women.
Well, I think at that time too, I can't remember. And that was the first semester. We had 2 semesters in high school. And the first semester, that's when I went after the girl that he liked. He took my first book, and then my other book got swiped. So I naturally thought that Nathan had taken that one too.
A real life Boy Meets World episode. See, that's what I mean. That's why I thought it'd be cool to connect it.
And I don't remember how we patched things up and started like becoming buddies again. Like after
that part, it was probably just like, hey, we cool? Yeah, we're cool. All right, and then things just went back to normal. I don't think
it was like any of these things where you had like really kind of soft dramatic music playing in the background.
No, you know what? It probably was too. It was probably like that soft dramatic music, and I was just like, hey man, I'm sorry I was a dick. And then you're probably like, oh, it's cool, bud. And then you pat me on the back.
I moved in on your girl. I don't know what I was thinking. She's not my type anyway.
Yeah.
And she wasn't, but I guess I just like.
I was pissed.
He was, and rightfully so, because because I've always been a fan of the girly girl. She was not the girly girl. She was kind of like an alternative, girl. I mean, I don't know why. I still regret it to this day.
She's actually a DJ in New York. And when I say DJ, I don't mean like a radio DJ. I mean like an actual. She goes to events and plays music, but it's mostly like 80s synthwave, and she's sort of into like that 80s goth scene. So shout out to Andy.
Yeah,
but the girl that came between our friendship.
Yeah, well, I don't even think she was she even aware of it. Like she was the kind of girl that like homecoming, like at the homecoming football game. She shows up in like this kind of like wool coat and then wearing the tiara on her head, making fun of like, like who's getting voted like homecoming queen and all that stuff. Like she was so anti-establishment, she's a nonconformist even before there were nonconformists, that kind of thing.
That's why I thought she was hot.
Yeah. That's why Nathan was crazy about her.
Yep.
But
I told her that too. And it's all because her cousin liked me. Cause that was the thing. Like her and her cousin were really close and they hung out all the time. So when I had a crush on her, turns out her cousin had a crush on me, but I didn't really, I wasn't attracted to her cousin. I asked her, I was like, had Molly not liked me, would you give me a chance? And she said yes. And I was like, God damn it.
I remember because I felt bad for him because I knew of that situation. Like after we'd already patched things up, like Nathan still wanted, and he should have. And I hated hearing that he had that kind of roadblock keeping him from pursuing somebody he'd been crazy about for so long, you know. But then there was a girl I thought was really hot, and she was crazy about Nathan, and he wouldn't give it the time of day. I'm like, what?
Are you talking about Jennifer?
Jennifer McCain, yeah.
Yeah, oh, man, that is a huge regret from high
I love
school.
reminding him about that because I was so.
I think about it, like, dude, and it was beautiful too because Tyler actually asked one of the girls at the table, was just like, hey, you know, whatever, and they basically told Tyler, like, she likes Nathan, and he was just like, fuck,
yeah,
bastard.
Yeah, because Nathan had the gift of gab. Like he made everybody laugh, especially the girls. So I think that's one of those things that you know made Nathan a hot commodity with women because he dated some pretty girls back in school, you know. So it's I because they all thought he was funny as hell, and I think that's what really turned a lot of them on. And she loved saying his first name.
Oh yeah. Oh, we haven't even discussed this on the show before. I almost wanted to bring it up.
All this is new. Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up when we did Naked Gun because you guys say George Kennedy, the actor.
Yeah.
My first name is actually George. I go by my middle name because my dad's first name is George as well. So different middle names, but to distinguish that, more like we'll just call him by his middle name. And it's kind of funny because anytime you bring that up, they're like, "Are you a junior?" I'm like, "No, our middle names are different, you dumb fuck."
That's a quote.
But anyway, yeah, Jennifer, she would always George, and she was like, "I want to fuck him," and I was just like, "What?"
And I'm sitting there just like pulling my hair out, like, "No!"
Oh,
God.
What a side rant! Holy shit!
Yeah. Well, that was all because of me. I had to make it happen. Sorry about that. But let's go back to Boy Meets World, damn it. So yeah, it did. It started off more family-like, and when they first had, you know, Topanga, if you remember that
she was a weirdo.
Yeah, she was the one who was all about the hippie stuff, and her hair was weird, talked about her hippie parents or some shit, but yeah, she definitely was different. And then there was always that little nerd Minkus who was the real genius on the show, which they wrote him off, but I think they brought him back towards like maybe one of the last episodes.
No, when they had graduation, he showed up. And they were just like, "Where you been?" And he's like, I've been right over there. And it sort of like cuts to like in behind the camera.
I like the inside joke shit. It's the same thing. Like, we'll think about Morgan, the little daughter. I mean, his little sister. Didn't she kind of get written off the show too?
Yeah, she disappeared for a while, and then they cast someone else, and then she came down the stairs one day, and they made a joke about it. It's like, man, you were grounded for a really long time.
That was it. But no, I always like the element of Mr. Feeney, you know, to think that, you know, you'd have a principal or whatever that would be living next door and could still give you advice. And he was always the cool principal character that he wasn't like an obnoxious ass or nothing. But I just, like I said, the show, it was good family stuff, but then it went more into hijinks and more about, you know, of course, the dating and the relationships. And almost like Tyler said, when it started getting towards the last season, yeah, it definitely lost its feel. I wasn't really into it anymore, and of course then the show was off the air after that. But it's like we said, almost with Big Bang, what else can you do with some of these characters, especially when they're growing up? Like, you get more of a kick out of the younger thing and what they're doing in regular grade school, junior high school, and once it goes past that, it's like, okay, now they're getting older, it's time to end the show.
Well, I think it to me, Boy Meets World is one of those shows that even despite that, I enjoy it a lot. And honestly, I kind of prefer the later seasons over the earlier ones. Like, I like it all as a whole, but I kind of liked when it started to get goofier. I thought Eric was really, really funny.
Yeah, they played up his dumb antic stuff as well. Yeah, Eric, yep.
Yeah,
he's such a great voice actor too.
Yeah, and Jack, like I watched the episode with his introduction the other day because Eric didn't fill out the paperwork for his dorm room, so he doesn't have anywhere to live. And Alan's like, "Well, he's back," and you know, Amy's like, "We got to kick him out," and they kick him out. And Cora's like, "I'm finding you a place." And this is one thing that I still quote because Topanga is laying on his bed, and he's like, I think Eric's gonna come in here, and she's like, just make out with me. And as soon as he goes in to kiss, he pops in the door. He's like, "Hello," and then he starts grabbing the weights. And the one thing, and I still quote it to this day. He's sitting there, and he's just like, "Big Daddy rocks, Big Daddy rocks." And then like Topanga's looking at him, and Corey's like, "Topanga," she's like licking her lip. What? And she leaves. He's like, and then Eric's like, "Why did Topanga leave?" And he's like, "'Cause Big Daddy rocks." So I just like saying Big Daddy rocks all the time. But Corey goes and is like, all right, I know what he wants. He wants like a beach view. He wants an avocado fridge. And then Jack shows up and he's like, I'm looking for a roommate. And then Corey's like, this is perfect. And then Sean comes down and he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, you are not going to ruin this. He's like, that's my brother. He's like, he is not your. It's cool how they wrote all those characters in, like with Rachel. Rachel was. Calm
down.
Oh man, that honestly, because that's like Topanga, and then later seasons. If I had like a chart right here, it's like Topanga. Season 3, season 4 started here, but then here comes Rachel, and it's just sort of like the cross, and Rachel just sort of took over for me. And Joe, I feel like Angela was probably a favorite for you. I'm just,
Angela. Well, I mean, Jesus, I mean, it was about time. At least Sean got himself a regular good, girlfriend too. So no, Angela and Topanga were my favorites. Topanga is still God, especially like you said, maybe not towards the exact end of the show, but there was that certain part, there was this peak, there was something that she hit, just combination of her face, her body, or just juicy lips and everything. Just like, boy, she just had something going on. But yeah, same thing with Angela too. So yeah, I got quite excited watching Boy Meets World in certain parts. And then talk about you and the Dingers. Yeah, that show brought it on. But and that's what I figured. I thought that would have been a real good connection with you two, because it's like you said, just growing up, being eventually best friends, having your little shit incidents and stuff, but going through the trials and tribulations, almost like what this show was.
I think that's why Boy Meets World sticks out to me the most in this block of programming in the episode that we're talking about today, because when they are in junior high going into high school, that was sort of timing well with when I'm in like 7th, 8th grade. So the shit that they're going through in there, I can kind of relate it to my life here in middle school. It's like, yeah, Erica's being a bitch about this. Here's this other girl that's showing interest. Like, well, what do I do? And then there's the episode when they go to that ski lodge and Corey gets hurt, and the chick that's working there, played by, I want to say, Linda Cardellini, I think is her name, if I did that right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was like coming on to him, and they're talking and they really like each other, and then he's kind of conflicted about it, and that really resonated with me a lot. And I could have done an entire episode on Boy Meets World, because this is one TV show that I actually remember a lot, because you guys were talking about Perfect Strangers, and I remember watching it, but there's nothing that really sticks out to me.
See, and again, that's when it comes to like the ages and stuff, because like Perfect Strangers was more the time when I was kind of growing up, and then leading into Family Matters as well. So I think that's why I even had more of a connection to Family Matters. And same thing, like, going through school and shit and seeing things that would happen. I kind of had like little connections, but Boy Meets World came just as like maybe I was just getting out of school. I couldn't remember, but you could relate, and I still enjoyed that. But yeah, just some of the shows I just, like I said, I had zero connection. I just couldn't connect with Full House. It just didn't do it for me. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I never watched, so I wouldn't have a clue. But yeah, just Full House, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell annoyed me about it. I think maybe because my sister liked it so much, and I'd watch a couple episodes like, damn, this show annoys me. It's like, she used to, when I'd want to watch He-Man and stuff, she wanted to watch Little House on the Prairie. It's like, what the hell is Little House on the Prairie? God,
yeah, just you even uttering that show's name makes me want to fall asleep right now.
Anytime it was on, she's screaming, Mom, Dad, I'm going to watch that. No, but Joe's going to watch He-Man. And like, he always gets what he wants. And I remember those damn things. So yeah, she would then watch it. But thank God, He-Man used to be rerunning so much I could watch. But oh, I hated that theme song. I hated everything about it. Oh, God. I don't know. Maybe that's what it led into Falls. It reminded me of a modern-day version of the shit. I don't know. I just wasn't my thing.
The chat is something else today. I love you guys. It's very warped and weird, but I still...
and if they're going to ask, I'm going to say they were asking who's the hottest golden girl in real life. I'll tell you what, I would go with Betty White. Damn it, she's eternal. And she was a cute shit when she was Rose back then. And when you think of, like, when you had Blanche, she played up the horror role, but I was like, just didn't do it for me. And of course, Dorothy scared the shit out of me. But then Estelle Getty or whatever is playing, Sophia. She she actually was really pretty when she didn't have that goofy ass wig on and everything. She looked a lot younger. They made her look a lot older. But no, I'd say out of the 4 Golden Girls, yeah, I'd take Rose any day.
Yeah, I would go with Rose as well.
I'm going with Blanche because she was a whore.
She was
yeah.
Great.
All the woman wanted to do was just have sex. I'm like, I'm going home with Blanche tonight. Wholeheartedly.
Oh man.
This is a fun one, man. I'm glad you mentioned. Like I said, I wanted to originally do just Family Matters, but then when Nathan said, "How about we just do the TGIF lineups back in the day?" I was like, that would be fun because there was so many.
I thought it was like better suited, and it gives us a chance to, because I wanted to just briefly touch on these. I don't know if you guys watched Hanging with Mr. Cooper at all. I actually watched more Sister than I would like to admit to.
I watched it a lot too because I thought they were hot.
Yeah, I thought
Tamara Mowry. Oh yeah, they're both hot as shit. So yeah, I watched Sister and Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
The only thing I remember about Hanging with Mr. Cooper is just like Golden State Warriors was like his thing. That's basically all I remember about it. And
Holly Robinson. Oh
yeah,
man.
Yeah, and then she married Rodney Peete. And now they're doing commercials for some
like
shit
juice drink or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like oh, I thought it was like some tablet that you can take so you can eat whatever you want and lose weight at the same time.
I remember seeing her doing something like some sort of like healthy like juice drink for kids or something like that too. But I'm like, man, she's still super hot even after all these years.
Yeah, because I remember her from first 21 Jump Street.
Yep.
That jumped that, and then just gone and like you said, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and then damn, she is hot as shit. So, oh damn!
And I would always fall asleep not too long after Mr. Cooper would come on because I would like looking at Holly Robinson so much on the show, but that would always be the show that I would check out of. Like on Friday nights, like I'm tired and I just could not.
And then 2020 was coming on. You're just like,
yes. I want to watch Peter Jennings.
Yeah, Peter Jennings.
No, thanks.
Barbara Walters.
When Sister moved during the week, because Full House moved to Tuesday nights, Dinosaurs moved to Tuesday nights, I think. Sister moved on during the week, and I would watch those. Hanging with Mr. Cooper was always like the later of the TGIF block, and always the one that if I could manage to stay awake, I would try to watch it, but it would not break my heart because I just.
Dude, it's like 9:30 on a Friday, and you're falling asleep.
Yeah, because I wasn't the night owl that you are.
Jesus, man. I'm sitting there. I'm just like, all right.
I had to get up early the next day to watch X-Men, so I had priority.
Not that early. X-Men came on at what, like 10 a.m.?
10:30, 11 o'clock. But I don't know.
I went to bed early and woke up late.
Up that late.
Tyler needs his 13 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I just was tired. I'm like, I wasn't motivated enough. Like when I would stay at a buddy's house, yes, I was more motivated.
But like after, did you not just like, I'm going to go play Super Nintendo now? Because that's what I always did after TGIF. I'm like, I'm going to go play Nintendo.
No.
I gotta go to bed. I'm so tired.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to remember like at what point my parents didn't push the whole like, because even on a Friday or Saturday night, we didn't have to go to bed as early, of course. But I was trying to remember when they stopped. I just remember when Mr. Cooper would come on, I was just too tired to stay up. Like naturally, I just had no energy to stay up. So I tend to fall asleep around when that show would come on a lot.
Man, Tyler was a lame kid, man.
I was a lightweight, but I'm still enjoying all this stuff that Nathan's still carrying on with all the current stuff, and I'm still stuck in the 80s, in the 90s still.
What the fuck happened? Yeah. Like I said, just what happened to fucking TGIF and that good shit? They just
they actually have revitalized it.
I must hear this. What have they revitalized it with?
Yeah, I wasn't even aware it's still going on.
Well, I gotta bring the page up again. Well, it kind of went through different phases. Like the original run was from 89 to 2000, and then for a few years they had just blocks of it's like Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, and Who wants to be a millionaire in America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, that's fucking horrible.
Yeah, and then they had their second run, which was only a couple of years. They had George Lopez, 8 Simple Rules, Hope and Faith, Life with Bonnie. Just
real quick, the only one of those I tried to watch was 8 Simple Rules. I remember, John Ritter, God rest his soul. He passed away.
I know people like that show. I never watched it, but
I just watched it for Katie Kyoko, the hot one that went on to Big Bang, because I was like, damn, she's hot. And then,
she is hot.
Yeah, God almighty. But I didn't know that was part of the block. I think that's the only thing I watched out of all them shows you mentioned. But what else have they done past that? I got to hear more.
Well, the third run here is Fresh Off the Boat, Speechless, and Child Support, and they're all those shows that are like the hour long.
That all sounds so
Boxer.
uninteresting to me. Yeah, they don't understand the good old TGIF and these.
But hey, man,
comedies and
2020 is still around.
Oh, thank God! There, if you want to go to sleep quickly, you can put that shit on. I always have something that's like its own version of fucking NyQuil. Is watching that boring stuff and.
Well, look at the whole sitcom situation today. I mean, I think Big Bang Theory is probably one of the few shows.
That's what I mean. That's it.
That and Modern Family, which people watch, I never can really get into.
And that's a different style too. That's not.
But I'm saying, but it's still a sitcom. It's not the laugh track sitcom, of course. But I mean, that's kind of the norm now. Is the shows without the laugh track, And
well, I did. Did the laugh track ever annoy you guys at all? Because in some shows it would.
Yes, because there was a distinct sounds in some of like some of them that you knew was super fake. Like, okay, you want to talk about way back for like Happy Days. There was this like one kind of laugh where it always went or something. It sounded so phony when it was put in there every time. And then Everybody Loves Raymond. There was a particular one where this guy went, and I was like, I hear it almost every third episode. I'm like, oh God, take that fucking horse.
It's like a guy's got a gag in his mouth and being raped.
It was.
I mean, he is being tortured having to sit there and watch that shitty fucking show.
I still like Everybody.
Nah, fuck that show. That
well, I had that Italian aspect because I could relate to I said, had relatives that do the same damn thing. They'd act. So
I know why, because they're Italian.
Yeah, that's what he just said.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear you say Italian. I just heard you just relate to them.
No, it was the Italian family thing. So
but I didn't see anything Italian about that show at all.
Well, the thing is, you don't know, it's the culture of things, the way that Marie would act towards an outsider. It's like, believe me, like my grandma, again, God rest her soul, there was ways that they would act to not like a certain particular person marrying their son or never being good enough for the son. And the way
I don't see that as an Italian thing. I kind of see that as just,
the cooking. It's just, there's things that she did with things through food and things she acted that, I'm not kidding, I could put right on my aunt and my grandma, but just particular things that I've seen. And like I said, I've been around other families and I've seen some stuff, but there's particular mannerisms. So, and of course, Ray Romano probably being the one that's heading up a lot of the stuff to probably be in the show, since he's Italian, he probably said, yep, he probably related this to something that through my family I've seen. So I
guess that's why, because no one else looked Italian on the show other than Ray.
No, they did. No, you're right. I mean, they sure the hell.
How is this Italian?
I thought the same thing, because I looked and was like, he doesn't look Italian. He doesn't look Italian. Like me, I'm only half, so I don't look like it. But yeah, when you have those dark ones, like my dad, he's dark.
I guess it's like stereotyping that all Italians have black hair. Like the men slick it back and they're wearing suspenders and a white shirt and a mustache.
But you also got to make sure that the machismo's puffing out at the top.
You got to have the toothpick.
You got the rug underneath there. The wife has always got a bread roll in her hand like this. The kids are, hey man, slapping each other all over the place.
My grandma
spaghetti and talking like this all the time with one hand, doing the whole Pac-Man thing in your hand.
Hand puppet.
Is that what we do?
Yeah, they're always just doing this. And Joe says that people actually do that in his family. That they're, manja and.
Well, like I said, I'm always talking with my hands, and it's hard not to. That's why I was trying to.
Yeah, but you're doing this, just like Tom Arnold, just kind of bouncing like high.
Yeah, you know what is up with Tom Arnold? Because he's always just fidgety.
Yeah,
this is
I remember they made fun of him on Saturday Night Live with Chris Farley doing the press jump. Just kind of leaning it up, and like his pants came down and his wig came off there in the bloopers.
You know what I want to ask?
Then it smells like, did I just see the new guy's ass?
Did anybody in the chat room? I'm still asking. Somebody sent these to me in the mail in an envelope, and they didn't have their name on there.
That's badass.
It said,
it is.
And I don't know who sent these. And I honestly, I'm hoping.
Well, it sounds like you don't want them, so send them both to me.
No,
I'll give you my address.
I'm not going to open the Masters of the Universe because I have all the cards, so I don't.
You gotta eat the gum, dude.
But
it's over 30 years old.
The Batman.
Well, the Batman is over 20 years old.
I have none of these cards, so I am
actually will be 30 years old next year.
Yeah, my God, they were doing giant Batman marathons from yesterday, today. They've just been nonstop. I've seen Batman 89 twice so far, yesterday and today. So, but I could open this one. Is there any rare cards do you know of this? Or
well, there weren't really rare cards and cards about movies and stuff like that. So.
Oh, they didn't do any chase things? I couldn't remember.
No, I mean, you'll probably just get like a piece of like a grander scale. Yeah, the sticker thing where I think one of them's him standing with.
I think.
Yeah, I want to say it's Batman standing with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
so
variant
all right, no
cards
sense.
wouldn't start till Batman Forever. That
So we're gonna get a live
a live,
I mean, should I
live
leave it sealed?
unboxing or unpackaging of Batman 89 trading cards from Topps? But
yeah,
now,
fuck it, Joe. Let's go ahead and do this. You do this, and we'll go ahead and we'll kind of give final thoughts and wrap up or something.
I feel bad opening, but here we go.
You got to tell us what.
Stop feeling bad about stuff.
You got to tell us what it smells like, and if there is gum in there, you got to show that to us too.
Oh yeah, hold on a second. First, let me set these cards.
The gum chalk all over the back of the card.
Well,
Yeah.
the gum
First wave of
is
Batman cards too, I think, with the white border.
Can you see the gum? It's in chunky pieces. Or wait,
No.
here.
No, I can't. You just keep cutting. Okay, yeah, there it is. Look at that.
Should I eat it?
Probably throw it against the wall and it'd stick like a ninja star.
Should I eat stuff or no? Will it make me sick?
I don't think it would make you sick, but it's just gonna
It might
taste
cut
like,
your cheek.
It's gonna. It's honestly, as soon as it hits your mouth, it's probably just gonna like
shatter.
I mean, but you definitely you don't think it'll make me sick.
I
Right?
wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend doing it.
So I shouldn't. Oh, okay.
I'll give you a quarter if you. I'll send you a quarter if you eat it.
Don't,
right,
Joe.
Of
Don't
all
do
the
it.
other stuff Joe will put in his mouth, he's not going to put that in there.
Oh, he did it. See, you're wearing the mask so we can't see. Like you're just because I imagine you're just doing this with your face right now. Oh.
Just a little bit, but hold on, I got to finish it. Oh, I got to do it.
Oh, it sounds gross already.
Yeah. I think this is gonna make for a fantastic episode. Hey, you guys that follow us on iTunes and Podbean, please make sure for instances like this that you do pop over to the YouTube channel and give a subscribe while you're there. Joe, you all right?
What is he? Is that? Are you drinking hot sauce?
Yes, to get rid of the thing.
Oh man! And he was chugging it like he had the bottle up to his mouth. Oh.
What the fuck, Joe?
He's like,
what did it taste like? Did it taste like eating chalk?
I felt like I was eating crayons or something.
Well, let's see the cards you got. What cards did you get?
Okay.
It's
There's the sticker.
Wing? Oh, that's the sticker. Okay, I got the Batwing.
Oh, cool.
Oh, goddamn, that's horrible taste. Okay, no deals, Grisham. Or Grisham, or
how yes.
Okay.
That's a behind the scenes photo there.
All right, just a plain old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, very cool. Michael Keaton in his prime there.
All right. Oh, I like this one. Clown Prince of Crime. So
that's the Joker card. I think that's just like the standard character card for the Joker, I think.
All right, so I got the cool Joker card. I always like this scene. Well, of course I like a lot of the scenes, but the good old Dance of Death scene.
Yeah. You got some good ones.
Yeah. All right. So I got the Dance of... And this one I consider, I don't know, for me it's boring. Maybe Tyler would like it, but just knocks on the job.
No. Even
Yeah.
as a kid, I wasn't a fan of Knox. He was just Robert Wool was obnoxious in the movie. I mean, I love it all, but as a kid, I'm like, he sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still kind of does.
And this, it's kind of an okay thing, but not too exciting. Just funny meeting you here with him and Vicky Vale.
Anything with Kim Basinger and it's hot, so that's cool.
All right. Well, it's different, but the Batmobile tears away, they say.
Okay, yeah, taking off, avoiding the Joker. Yep.
Good all right. Stuff. And I like this scene. Pretty cool scene. It's within the Batcave, so that's kind of a cool scene.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was so ballsy where he pulls the Batmobile right to the very edge of the.
That scared me. I used to think he was going to go right off. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And and just a fantastic chase with the Batmobile as well, and that nice kind of like smoky night scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looks pretty cool. So those are all the cards.
That's a good pack of cards you got, man. That's
all
awesome.
Right.
Like, was the gum still like chewable? Like, was it chewable?
No, this absolutely dissolved, and it tasted like.
That's what I thought.
That's why I had to drink some of this Dave's Insanity sauce.
Oh, thank God you had hot sauce. Yeah.
Beyond Retro, sponsored by Dave's Insanity Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
Get yours at your local. I'm gonna assume you went to Dollar Tree and bought this.
Or we went to like one of those like Mexican stores, like a Mexican grocery store, and got it.
No, this is I get this at Myers. It was $7. So
Okay, yes, yeah.
See, listen, you will buy $7 hot sauce, but you got to buy like dollar headphones.
Well, for this, it's because it's the only time I can.
Yeah, but Tyler, that will last longer and it makes his food taste better. What are headphones going to do?
It does. This can last a while because like I said, I added on stuff, but it's not like I drink it normally like I just did, but I had to because they get rid of that damn gum.
Wouldn't you just drink water out of the bathroom sink or something?
Yeah, but that's not going to take the taste away.
This killed the taste. Trust me. This destroyed that taste. That was bad. So wow. God, I can honestly say I've eaten 20-year-old gum or almost.
No, yeah, 30-year-old gum almost.
Oh,
yeah.
What's it say? I mean, it's got to say like probably 1990 on there.
Oh,
it's 1989.
Yeah, or
1989. Yeah, 1989.
Yeah, you ate 29-year-old gum, Joe.
Holy shit! Well, there's a first for everything. Did it here live on the podcast.
Yeah, first for our show as well. Jesus.
Cleared the hell out of my nose though after having the hot sauce again. So, I can like smell shit from 2 rooms away.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, do you guys have any final thoughts on TGIF? I kind of look to it as fondly as I do like Snick. Because that was always just a back-to-back Friday, Saturday. It makes me think of going to the video store and the grocery store earlier in the day. So it's like we go to the grocery store, we go to the video store, I rent some shit, and we sit and watch TGIF. And just good memories. Anybody else? Yeah,
I was like,
yeah. Who wants?
One quick other final thought. The $7 for this hot sauce, it's not only getting rid of fucking colds, warding off colds, but helps with allergies and for food. So that's what justifies the $7. It's like medicinal.
It's a home remedy for you.
It is. It's a home remedy, and I make it last. So that's the only time I spend some money is something like this. But
he puts some hot sauce in a sock and puts them on, and it takes care of his cough.
Yeah. Whatever the hell it does.
Irritable bowel syndrome. He just swallows some hot sauce, and then I'm all cleaned out.
Whew, man, I never thought I'd eat fucking 30-year-old gum. But
I didn't either.
Yes, but no. As for the TGIF, I look back on it because it's obviously something we don't have anymore. But it's times I wish that kids these days could experience, or just people in general. I'd love to see a return of that kind of good, fun comedy while having serious moments. Don't know if it'll ever happen again. Probably won't.
No.
But yes, I mean, I always look back at Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, Step by Step, Boy Meets World. Yeah, some of the best fun fucking comedies at their time, especially TGIF. But yes. Things that can't be replicated ever again, probably.
You know, I kind of want to do a Boy Meets World podcast, even if it's just me talking by myself, being like, "Hey guys, this episode."
Will this be before or after you go to bed? Watching it in your bedroom, because that was the most disturbing shit I've ever. I still can't get over that.
As opposed to what you've done on the podcast today.
Yeah, or shit you've talked about before that you've done.
Well, yeah, I'm not one to talk.
It's the most disturbing. He watches Boy Meets World in bed.
Yeah, I probably
watch a fluctuating scale here on the podcast of what's considered, insanity and normal.
Exactly. I admit if I had a DVD or Blu-ray to watch.
Oh, maybe if it was on VHS, he'd find you a little bit more understanding.
Right? Oh, thanks for saying that. It's out now. I don't know how much it costs, but Season 2 of Stranger Things is out, and it looks like they even have a VHS and some box set at Target.
Oh, I'll have to actually check that out when I go out.
Yeah, it looked cool as shit. It's like they showed the DVDs, but I swear to God, they showed a VHS. I was like, is this a joke VHS cassette, or is it a real VHS
well,
cassette?
They did that with Season 1 when they were released as well. They kind of had that retro packaging that made it look like a VHS.
No, I mean, I've seen it opened, and you can see a cassette in there, and it looks like a VHS, but I'm like, okay, was that a mock-up inside the opening to where you take out the VHS cassette, and then it opens to DVDs? I don't know, but I seen a picture of it in the Target ad, and they showed it open with all the DVD, Blu-rays, and a VHS cassette.
I'll honestly, I'll check it out. I might actually pick that up today, and if I do, I'll unbox it.
Do it tonight.
You know what? Maybe that'll be a new thing, a little segment. It's like, well, we're not doing the mini comic review with Nathan, but he bought some shit this weekend, and he's just gonna unbox it right now.
Do it tonight. It's $22. I think it was $22. So
yeah, because I bought the first season. Because even though they are on Netflix, to me it's a nice thing to have. I like having physical copies of things. I don't like digital shit is fine, but I like having it in my hands, and it's useful too for like the internet goes down. I have things that I can pop in and watch.
Hell, that is cool shit. And I was gonna say, JSP in the chat room just said that he had a coworker who guest starred on Family Matters. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, you'll have to leave a comment down below and tell us that story. That would be cool. Let us know what episode that they were on if you have that information, and because Family Matters is on Hulu, and I'll just go and start watching that and find that episode because that's always cool. I would have always have liked to have been an extra in the show, just sitting in the background talking to somebody else, because I think that's just neat, and you get paid a little bit. So there's actually, come to think about it, there's a guy that William Bell that I ran into at Mad Monster one year. He was just hanging around outside, and Tyler, I think you were in there getting autographs and stuff, and I'm like, I just need a break from the people. So Sam and I went outside, terrible name, and ran into William Bell. And we just started talking about horror films, and he had like a passion for it. And he's been extras in all kinds of stuff. He was in Rob Zombie's 31. He's been actually in the background on The Walking Dead, which is kind of cool. And he's been in a few movies and other TV shows just as an extra, chilling and hanging out. And he sticks out because he's like a big, tall dude, but he's got like longer hair and just like a big burly beard too. So he definitely pops when he's on the screen. So that's neat to me. So JSP, leave a comment down below and let us know. And no one's saying anything else. Tyler, your final thoughts on TGIF?
It's always going to be a fond memory for me because it was always so exciting for Friday nights. On top of like it's the weekend, you could sleep in, no school, no homework. Well, sometimes homework.
I can see Tyler doing, I got to go to bed. There's so much homework to do this week.
Well, I dreaded the homework, especially projects. I'd always wait until do it on Sunday, and I would dread Sunday.
You were one of those last minute guys.
I was always a procrastinator when it came to projects and stuff. But Friday night was a blast for me to stay up and watch Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step, Mr. Cooper, Boy Meets World. Watched it all. I saw it all through the transitions, Perfect Strangers. I was watching it through probably about the mid to early late 90s, and then quit watching. But it was a lot of fun for me. I mean, it was something that we all did. We all enjoyed it. Me and my brother both, my mom, my granny. I don't think my dad really cared for it that much, but it was part of the fun of being a child, that you had certain shows that you watched, at a set time, and you looked forward to it. And the girls were always pretty. The guys you thought sometimes were really cool, and that you were like, oh, I'd like to be friends with him. But, it was fun. I don't really care to ever really revisit the stuff,
I think you should go back and watch Boy Meets World.
I'm not opposed to it, but it's just not something I would seek out and buy,
I'll buy it for you. Make you watch it.
Well, if you buy it for me, I will sit down and revisit it. But
you'd be like, you know what? This sucks now.
Well,
I can see you doing that.
Well, then I didn't. Thank God I didn't buy it. But no, I do think about it. I do reminisce about it, because it was a fun time. I mean, because I love reminiscing about my childhood, But
it's just it's an era gone by now. Like,
and it'll never be recaptured because the days of classic sitcoms are gone. Like,
not only that, but in order to catch that new episode, you had to be there.
Yeah,
or at least set the VCR. And if you missed it, you missed it. You would catch it later on in the springtime when they did the reruns.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, in this day and age, too, where if you do miss something, you can always find like a reverse version on YouTube or streaming somewhere or something like that. Or Nathan can find some illegal way of watching it or something like that.
Hey, man. Don't broadcast that shit on the internet. They're going to come knocking that. You haven't done that in years. So you know what? Between Joe's mob connections and you spreading that, I feel like any knock on that door is just like, I'm a goner. I'm done.
I'll forgive that beef. It happens right now.
Tell Emily and the dogs I love them. Boom. Just he kills us right there immediately. It's like, sir, we just want to know, do you have any extra sugar we can borrow? Or the guy's like, we're just taking an informal survey. Who do you plan to vote for? But Nathan just, I'm sorry. Boom. Doesn't hesitate, or runs out in the middle of the street and jumps out in front of the first car, and You know,
there's actually not a lot of traffic over here in this neighborhood. I would have to like go down the road. There's way more traffic.
You have to run down to the main.
Which is always a pain in the ass because when I need to go to work, I need to turn left, which means I need to cross. I need to cross the traffic that's heading north, but I gotta like swing through there, and it's the time that I leave is kind of when this other plant down the road lets out, so there's like a shitload of cars coming this way, and I have to wait, and then here come like 2 or 3 cars, so I can't swing over yet, and it's a pain in the ass. Sometimes I just have to turn right, go down the road, pull a U-ey, and go that way, and by then I'm like behind a shitload of cars. I'm just like, man,
I want to kill myself right now. Like Nathan's always just coming to the reason to just blow his brains out all the time.
Yeah, but believe it or not, I would say I'm a regularly depressed person. I'll just I'll throw that out there on the show because people watch this and they're just like, oh well, you know, he seems like everything's kind of cool, and it's like, well, I mean, for the most part it is, but there are times I kind of get in my own head. I think we all do that.
We all have problems.
I'm not going to bring this show down. I already did it once. I'm not doing it again.
Keep doing this, or I'm just going to kill myself right now on the podcast. It's like Joey, send me that other pack of gum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Joe,
open up the tops.
You got to keep us updated on your
You
condition.
hospitalized.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like we're gonna get a message from us like, guys, I gotta go to the hospital, and then I'm gonna have to do Fans of Power with Tyler tonight.
Like, I'm gonna kill myself. I can't carry this podcast with Tyler. I can't do it.
Let's not jinx me. I should be fine. Like I said, I sucked down the hot sauce, so hopefully that counteracted any of the 30-year-old chemicals in that damn gum. Still can't believe I did that. Oh God! But hey, one quick more thing about Perfect Stranger. I got kicked out of. There was this one episode where Balky was wearing some Spider-Man pajamas,
and he's like, "I because of my He-Man pajamas."
There you go. I was like that because anytime you can hear He-Man and something,
yes.
I was like, yeah, because it was He-Man pajamas.
Absolutely, yeah. And there are some snazzy looking Spider-Man pajamas he's wearing. Like, okay, what do the He-Man pajamas look like? You know?
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, just had to bring that up real quick. And you know what's funny is I think I used to have some Spider-Man pajamas as a kid too. I used to have one thing.
I did too. I had a lot of those pajamas. I even had some Hulk Hogan ones.
Oh God, man.
Yeah, I had Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles. I probably did have some He-Man ones at one point. I know I had Thundercats, Transformers. I want to say I even had like Voltron at one point, which was kind of weird.
Well, shit. Hold
on. Joe's got his.
He's still wearing them.
Well, these ones.
Look at my ass.
Yeah, like,
skin marks in them and everything, like holes. It looks like a rat got a hold of them.
Yeah. No, I have ones. This is what shocked me because I have some of the old He-Man ones that had those cool designs, you know, obviously. But through a deal with somebody,
I bought their used underwear.
Yes. These ones are as mint.
Dumpster diving for used underwear.
No, these are probably as mint as possible, and I never knew they did them. And almost nobody has seen these colored. A couple years ago, I think they showed the black and whites that Errol McCarthy did, but even I think like Emiliano, he never seen them colored until he's seen what I had.
Joe is building us up, man.
They had the cool ass ones with Skeletor on the version of Tyrannosaurus Rex with
That's
He-Man.
badass.
Oh man, I didn't know you actually had it. I thought.
Yeah, I have this, and this is rare as shit. I can't remember. Even I see people collecting these all the time with the other Errol McCarthy. God, am I saying that right? Errol McCarthy.
Errol McCarthy.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I was saying the L. I thought I sounded like a moron, but we've seen plenty of the others, but not these. And here's another one.
As opposed to Win.
And here's another cool ass one. And
God, it's so cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love this art. The one I don't have that I wish I had is the one with Hero and
Gigantosaur and Cyclone.
Joe, you should wear that tonight for Fans of Power, dude.
Damn, it's
just put it on. We'll see like your belly button.
That's right, and it's a blue version of like if you want to say Turbodactyl.
Yeah.
Damn, that's some cool ass stuff. So I thought I'd share that live.
No, that's badass. JSP actually got to us and said season 4 of Family Matters, episode's titled Stormy Weather. She played Gloria. I think she announced that Urkel has a date. I will check that out. I'll track it down and I'll watch it.
Have to get her on the podcast and learn about all the behind the scenes stuff. Like, was Urkel a pervert behind the scenes? Like, does he walk around with his bat showing to everybody because of how tight his pants were? And...
Great ass show. Wish I had that on DVD. But okay, how you want to wrap us up, Nathan? Go ahead. You tell everybody what to do.
Well, I just want to say thanks to everyone that joined us in the chat. You guys were a little weird today, but I enjoyed it.
Well, you say that, but not elaborate on what was so.
Well, I mean, They got to talking about the Golden Girls and which one that you would bang.
That seems like just kind of generic.
Yeah, no, but what made me laugh was Eric said, I want to say it was Eric Heyman said that old puss still gets wet, and I don't know. I was just like, all right, that's a thing. What? But yeah. You guys in the chat, I love you guys, and we brought up I brought up like, I feel like at some point we all struggle with depression, but honestly, this is one of the things that I always look forward to week in, week out. It always makes me feel better when we're doing it. When I'm done, I feel better about the day. So thanks to all of you guys. If it's here in the live chat or checking us out on Podbean or iTunes, I appreciate that you guys take time out of your weeks to just listen to us ramble and tell our stories about taking books and taking girls and
taking names and eating gum.
Eating.
You guys
20,
did that. You guys
29.
And just to let you know, like just how we go through high school and all that stuff, you guys just did the first version of peer pressure on a podcast. You guys told me to eat that gum, man, and I didn't want to do it. You made me.
I told you not to, and you're just sitting there like staring at it.
Nope,
I guess
it's just Joe. The common thing that comes out of Joe's mouth is, "Can you eat that?" Like is
it edible? I'm hungry.
I'd be like Booker, in Revenge of the Nerds. Remember when the basketball went to that big vat of shit and landed on Poindexter's? He's like,
"You can eat this.
You can eat it." He grabbed it and he ate it. That would be me. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, that's the only question Joe is going to ask about any situation. Can I eat that?
Yeah, can I eat that? You can eat that. And I'm somebody
that would make a great T-shirt with like a side like modulate face, like he's like kind of like spunky and happy-go-lucky with the slogan, "Can I eat that?" Like a sky blue shirt.
To work, sir.
Well, yeah. Here's an honest thing though. Like if I'm sitting there,
like a dribble of hot sauce in Modulok's mouth there,
Right. Now I know, like I said, I don't know how you guys are, but this is being honest and serious. If I'm sitting there eating some bacon and eggs, and a nice piece of bacon fell on the floor, I'm gonna pick that up. I'm gonna blow it off and eat it because there ain't no way it touched the ground.
Well, unless you left it there for 30 or 30 minutes or so, like you don't have to blow unless you
5-second rule, guys.
Okay, because some people,
how much dust is gonna amount on this piece of bacon?
Some people are weird about stuff though. They won't touch nothing, but damn it, it's there for a couple. Yeah.
Shit, Joe.
What?
Halloween? Did you go? What was your score? Eric Heyman just brought that, and I totally fucking forgot about it.
I was hoping you guys want to bring it up. I didn't do it long. It was only an hour. I just got enough candy just to like sustain for a while. So I've been eating some of that.
Only an hour. Only an hour.
But
did you take 2 masks?
Yes, I did.
Did it work?
Yes, it did, because I took my old man mask and I did my skull mask with the holograms, and they just fit right into the pillowcase easily. And I did it quick. I did a quick run around because we got a little bit of rain. That's what kind of short the.
I bet you were pissed too, weren't you?
And I was, because I wanted a little more. But I got about an hour. But as quickly as I went, I got some candy. It's like I said, it's free food. So it's free.
I swear, we need to make sure Joe sees the Andy Dick skit of Lyle Tillman, how you can get everything for free. Like, that's Joe.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I'd have to see it. But
oh, God. All right. Well, thanks again to you guys that joined us live. It's always fantastic having you here week in and week out. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you get notified when new videos are posted or when we go live. Check out the links below if you guys want to download the MP3 version of this. We have the Podbean link, but also there's a link down below for iTunes, so it'll take you to that page if iTunes is more your thing. Check out Joe Amato's Custom Creations. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. I saw your beer bottle opener. I thought that thing was really badass.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Never know what I'll be asked to make.
Check out his t-shirts. He's always putting up new designs. Some cool shit on there. Like us on Facebook and like this video. Share if you'd like, and leave a comment down below and let us know some of your memories of probably sort of, in my mind, the last decent block.
Just don't look like Mama. Not at all in the shadow.
Oh
I'm telling you, you do that shit and you get in the shadow. It's man.
Just drink your hot sauce already, will you?
God, I was a sick kid. Well, I'm still sick, so yeah. All right.
See you guys next week.